Welcome back to the question and answers. The last time we spoke some time back, I had a lot of questions, and I also said if there was anything else that you wanted to ask, to just ask me. And so I've got a few. So we're going to go through another few questions that have been asked. This question is, was it difficult to delegate your work to people you didn't know and trust? It was at first. It was one of my biggest fears at the beginning, to pass on work to people I didn't know, to employ. I wanted to do it all myself. Eventually you realize that if you want to grow and expand, you have to. It was difficult at first, but then once I started, it became easier. Next question. Right, this is from Karen. How can I tell if a cake served in a cafe or restaurant is homemade? So unless they have a pastry chef or someone like that, they're likely to buy it from a wholesaler. They're likely to buy it frozen and ready-made. They're cheaper than having an employee. How do I know? I know because I know cake. I know what a cake from scratch looks like. I will know by the texture of the sponge, by the filling, whether it's been made by a human or by a machine. And when I taste it, I can taste the difference. But it's very normal. It's something that most restaurants do, and they're very nice, many of them as well. This question is from Tracy. And she says, I remember you baking from when we were at school. I remember you were the best in the class always. Did that give you the confidence to do what you do now? Thank you, Tracy. That's really flattering. Did it give me the confidence? Well, I always loved it. So maybe if I appeared to be the best in the class was because it was something that I loved. I think you're generally probably better at things that you love because you do it a lot. And when you do something a lot, you get better at it. Did it give me the confidence? I guess it did. Okay. And thank you for the compliment. Okay. This is from Jane. And she asks me, do you still eat cake? Yes, I do. I do still eat cake. People ask me that a lot. You must be sick of cake. Actually, no, I'm not. I wish I was. So I absolutely love cake, and I eat cake a lot. The next one. Have you ever thought of leaving it all? This question makes me feel very emotional, actually, because it's also a question that I get asked at the beginning of the business. I had a very hard time when I started the business. I had my younger brother who was dying, and who died actually, and I was going through a lot of stress at the time. And there was one day in particular, I was pretty bad. I broke down and I thought, do I really want to carry on with this? Do I want to carry on with this? Is it worth it? I'm going to give it all up because this is not for me. I can't do it. And then just minutes later, when I gathered my thoughts, I just thought, look, I'm just tired. I'm just exhausted. I just need to rest more. I've gone through a lot. I've gone through a lot of emotional upset. And that's all it is. So there are times that it happens. It happens to all of us. We want to give up, but that's all it is. Next question. This is from Janice. How do you ensure consistent quality? I love your cakes. Thank you. And they're always nice. I love baking, but I find it's so temperamental. Baking is temperamental. It's a very exact art. You have to get it right and you have to know what you're doing. And sometimes it's a lot of practice. Consistency is with practice. I make sure that everybody does the same. That is one of the roles I do. Anything that has not come out right, we chat. If it's not right, throw out, and we make sure that that is how we maintain consistency. They're not always perfect, but we make sure that the ones that do go out and the ones that you taste will always be perfect. What does it feel like to work with family? I know your daughter works for you. Is it difficult? Yes, my daughter works for me. I actually have a very good relationship with my daughter. Hopefully in another program you'll be able to see what we do together and the crucial role that she plays for Piece of Cake. I know that they always say never employ family or friends. I particularly have a good relationship with my daughter. She cares about the business, which is very important. We're always on the same page and has a very good work ethic. So I guess that in this case, I can say it's wonderful to work with my daughter because I can't think of anybody better. I hope she doesn't go. Okay, Jenny. This is a good one. What happens if you get a complaint? Right, okay. The first thing that happens is that if I get a complaint, I don't get them often, thankfully, but the first thing that happens is I get upset. We all come together and we see what's happened. Is it a complaint about how the cake looked or something like that? Maybe the design they didn't like. We didn't understand the interpretation of the design. Then we encourage customers, please bring it in so that we can have a look at it. In fact, you learn a lot more from a mistake than you would learn from everything going well. If someone comes in with a complaint, we care. We really do care. We try and make it up somehow, but most of all, we try and learn from it. Can it get better? What can we do to improve? And know the difference between a genuine complaint and one which is not a genuine complaint. What is your favorite creation, look and taste-wise? That's really hard. We've done hundreds of cakes, if not thousands of cakes. I like this one, I like this one, I like that one, no this one, no that one. I like cakes which are simple. They're usually wedding cakes. I like wedding cakes, even though they're a nightmare, but I love them because they're usually very pretty and they're very perfectly made, and I love wedding cakes. Have you ever done a recipe that tasted horrible? There's a lot of flavors going on now, like lavender. I'm not very keen on flavors like that. They might be the in thing. Some people might like them. I haven't tried them. But one that I've actually done that's horrible, I've tried the Guinness cupcakes. I didn't like them at all. And the Coca-Cola cupcakes. Didn't like that either. So I did it once and never again. Okay, what is the biggest order you have ever made? Right, okay. We get a lot of very big orders. I don't know what happens with big orders that tend to be short notice as well. In 2 days, we need 500 cupcakes or whatever. The biggest to date was 950 cupcakes and 950 cookies all in one day. But we were able to do it because that's a good thing about when you expand and you have equipment and people are fascinating to make, because seeing the volume of cupcakes is really quite a sight. Okay. This is from Adrienne, and she's asked, will you be doing baking classes? I get this asked a lot. The quick, short answer is you'll be watching a lot of tutorials now, so you'll be getting sort of baking classes. I have been thinking about it. If there is demand, if I find that there is a demand for it, let me know if you're interested. I will certainly look into it. Okay. Anonymous question, what would your job be if you weren't a baker? I wanted to be a midwife once, but I've been a baker all my life. It's almost impossible to think of anything else other than being a baker and businesswoman. Businesswoman more than anything else. But midwifery was something that I really liked the idea of. I've done lots of jobs, I've done lots of things, but what I've enjoyed the most has been the baking and the management of what I'm doing right now. This is from Melissa, and she's asked, what advice would you give to someone who wanted to start a bakery? Run away, don't. No. I would say if you want to start a bakery is obviously you have to be prepared to work very, very hard. You have to forget about holidays, you have to forget about weekends, you have to forget about family, you have to forget about a lot of things, because you will be dedicating a lot of hours, a lot of your time in building your bakery or any business that you're going to build. If you're not prepared to put in the time, then I'd suggest you don't start. I'm willing to help anybody who wants to start a new venture in any way I can. Right, this is the last question for now, and this is a question actually that I get asked a lot. What do you do with cake leftovers? Right, okay. What do I do with cake leftovers? I eat them all. No. We know more or less how many we sell in a day. We do a certain amount at the beginning of the day, and then by 1 o'clock we normally know how the day is going. If the day is going to be busy, it's busy by then, and we might fill up the counter a little bit more if need be. If we have leftovers, there are rarely any leftovers, or they're very little. My staff is welcome to take them home if they want to. I might take some home as well, but there's very few leftovers. Okay, that is all the questions that we've had so far. If you want to ask more questions, please do ask me more questions, and I'll create another episode of question and answers. Thank you, and on to the next tutorial. Goodbye.